Alright, what's going on guys? It's Liam here and welcome to today's video on the channel. And in today's video, I have a Wallaru news video for y'all directly from Ratbeard's stream. Now, in this stream, he talks about a lot of the upcoming jewel audit. So I'll be talking about what I think about this stuff during the video. And I also have clips edited for you guys of Ratbeard's stream, so you guys can see all that here in the video. So yeah, without further ado, I'm just going to let the footage roll of Ratbeard and we'll talk about it after that part is done.
But the cold feet in question here is cold feet on these stat jewels. Did I tell you guys it was 30% damage? That's a lot. We do want jewels to represent 15% of your stat max, but it doesn't all have to be all at once. Yeah, not flat percent. I think the stat max for Storm goes from about 188 to well, let me just bring it up. Storm's going to jump up to 221. Storm jumps to 221. That's a big jump. Can we all agree on that? Which is fine. Where are the resist jewels? Not yet. No, not yet. Maybe not ever. First thing we did was decide what we were looking at what we call stat burden, right? Are the jewels distributed in such a way that all players have a similar stat burden? That's kind of where we approach the system design task. We then I want to say re-itemize, but rebalanced the jewels for which stats should appear on which jewels, and then we rebalanced the jewel slots for which slots appear on which gear templates. So the question we devs find ourselves struggling with today is, are we nervous enough about some of these jumps in stats? And by the way, if damage is going up by as much as it's going up, that is the reason that the health jewels are going up by as much as we've talked about, right? We've talked about the health jewels ranging from about 1600. It's actually south of 1600 by a bit, 1575 or something like that. From about 1600 for Storm to I forget. Someone else tell me. Over 2000, I guess, for life, maybe 2200 even. Probably if the damage stat comes down, then also the health jewels come down. Although it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. We might just be happier with the floor, with the health floor going up for everybody. Anyway, Pierce jewels are not growing. Pierce jewels are not growing. They're still stuck at that 95 because Pierce jewels, as they exist now, already represent more than 15% of the stat max. So we didn't have any plan to grow those. So not ready to freak out about 30% damage jewels because everyone is running Pierce circle jewels right now. So most of those circle jewels will probably still be filled by Pierce jewels. As has been said, Pierce is also a circle socket. Yeah, as would crit be. But I did throw out, I think, some pretty big numbers for crit jewels as well. So they'll go up. Yeah, they're not 30% damage jewels. That is the maximum. That is correct. Thank you, Cam, for pointing that out. Oh, it's true, Liam. It's true, but why would you care? You've been crying about more health. Crying like a little girl. Sorry. That's extremely sexist. Crying like a little baby. Let's just put it that way. You've been crying for more health. You're getting that too, but you can't have them both. What's wrong with crying? I shouldn't disparage Liam being in touch with his emotions like that. All right. Let's move on. I'll find other ways to goof on Liam. Wait, no, I can't do that either. I can't say he's bad at math. That's grief. Gotta figure something out.
So the first thing he talks about is the 30% damage jewels. Now, guys, don't get this confused. It's not actually 30% damage jewels. What it is actually 10% per jewel slot. If it was actually 30% per jewel slot, that'd be way too good to be true, unfortunately. But that is not the case at all. So he talks about the point here, how Storm is going from 183 damage cap to like 221, he said in the VOD. So that's going to be a pretty big damage buff for Storm. Now, you might see things like Storms not have to run Giver and Dealer on their pet anymore. So they could put, like, I don't know, pips and accuracy now that their damage is a lot more accessible. Obviously, we don't know, all the details of the jewel audit just yet. Like, we don't know if you have to pick over health or damage or pierce at all, we don't really know yet. What Raptor did talk about though in the stream VOD is that there will be the same socket as a pierce jewel. So these damage jewels are going to be competing with 6% pierce jewels, and we're not going to be seeing any more than 6% pierce jewels anymore. Fire and Myth's pierce cap do go up by, I think, roughly about 6 is what he said for those pierce schools, but the actual pierce jewels remain the same. So what I think you're going to see happen probably is most people are going to gravitate towards the pierce jewels. You might only run 2 pierce jewels and like 1 damage jewel, but I don't think anybody in their right mind is going to give up 18 pierce for a little bit of damage right now. And that's primarily because, well, we are in a resist meta right now. Pierce is supposed to counter resist. So if you're just going to simply make your pierce worse in a resist meta, you're almost shooting yourself in the foot, right, guys? So unless there are changes like drastically to resist and stuff like that with this Wallaru update, which doesn't sound like there is going to be, I think this is probably going to remain being a pierce circle socket thing and not really damage or crits. Another thing Rapier talks about is that there's not going to be resist jewels, which I'm very happy to hear because, like I said, we have been in a resist meta for many, many years now. So just making resist better and better without any penalty, obviously, I think was a good call by the developers here. Right now, there is a resist limit and intersection, but at least in advanced content, it doesn't really work the way it should. For example, right now in advanced content, you can get up to 120 resists with a brace, obviously, before you see any kind of penalty while keeping your max damage and your pierce and all, lethality, essentially. So I'm kind of happy to hear that, resist is, I guess, indirectly getting nerfed, because we haven't heard anything about resist being directly nerfed in terms of the meta. And another important part I feel like we should talk about here is when Rapbeard's talking about the stat distribution in terms of jewels and stuff like that. He's basically saying, does every school have an equal, stat burden? And at least right now, present day, obviously we know that's literally not true at all. Fire and Storm lose so much just to, have, so-called a TPP, even though that doesn't really work right now in the meta, unfortunately. But I'm really hoping that, and what this is sounding like actually, is that every school is going to be a bit more even on the playing field in terms of things. So I think that'll be a great thing for the game, and it'll make things a lot more fair, in my opinion. Another interesting thing I want to bring up as well is when Rapbeard's talking about the kind of gear you are running. So example, tank gear, utility gear, and like DPS gear. What it sounds like is basically, depending on your template or your gear set you're running, you'll have different kind of sockets. So right now we have a tier socket, 2 circles and a triangle on an athame, right? But if you have, a different athame, potentially that might be like 2 tiers, 1 circle and a triangle, for example, right? So in my opinion, I think this is actually a pretty cool change, and honestly, I'm kind of welcome to this change. The jewel thing has been pretty stagnant for years, so I'm really, really looking forward to this, and I think it'll definitely help craft out playstyles for players even further, just in general in the game. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. And one of the last things I want to talk about is the fact that Rapbeard said critical jewels essentially are getting buffed as well. Now, somebody who's done a lot of PvE in the past, I actually do like the idea of critical jewels. If you already have really good pierce and you're at the damage cap, you'd probably want to invest into more critical to actually, well, do more damage, since you can't get really more pierce or more damage with the limits in the game at the moment. So seeing critical go from like, 20, I think, in live realm right now, up to like 100 and something, like Rapbeard said on stream, I think that'll be pretty good for PvE players. And I know personally me, I'll definitely be going for those when I, do questing and stuff like that. And at the end here, of course, we have Ratbeard, as usual, making fun of Liam, you know. We always have playful banter, you know, between Ratbeard and I. It's always pretty funny and entertaining, to be honest with you. So don't take anything what he says about me that seriously, guys. But he basically says that you're gonna have to pick over, you know, having more damage or like more health. We don't really know. What this sounds like to me, at least, is uh, Pierce may be critical, but Pierce damage and health are going to be like the three most important, and they're all going to be in the same slot. So if that is the case, I'm not really sure where things are going to go. Obviously, we'll have to see what kind of gear awaits for us in Wallaru itself. I'll be making a video talking about the pity system in Wallaru as well, upcoming here pretty soon. But I'm really looking forward to see what you guys have to say about this in the comments below. What do you guys think about what Rapbeard said? Do you think it's good? You know, the crit changes for PvE. Do you think this sounds a lot better in general for the game? Do you think it's going to hurt PvE or PvP more? Let me know your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments below. I personally am really excited for Wallaru, the jewel audit, and just all of the above, you know. So I'll be keeping you guys posted and updated with any news here on the channel. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you made it this far, a like, rating, and a sub is always appreciated. And I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, y'all.